What up? It's A2thaShow with me, A to
Hey,
Mo, joined
A2thaShow with A to
by
the Mo. What's going on, brother?
Southern Comfort.
I'm here.
I'll be honest,
We here.
I'm tired. It's my life's too busy, and I hate it. That's where I'm at. It's where I'm at in my life, and it's not even really busy. You know what I mean? But it is. It's busy enough that I'm
it's
just like,
it's stuff. There's
yeah.
always stuff.
It's like
There's never not stuff.
all I want to do is play video games 18 hours a day. You know, I just want to get into like a vegetative state where I just don't do anything. You know, I would love it. That'd be so awesome. But
No, it's crazy, and it's going to be a little bit different about today's episode with me and you. I actually can feel you. I always feel you on the video games. I actually feel you a lot more. Before we started this podcast, I was actually playing the only video game I play, which is WWE. I think mine is 2K19 now. I'm in the past, but I
Right.
love the game, so I stick with it. But I put a second TV in our living room so that me and my wife can like have something on. And because I have a multitasking brain, like I'll play my game while we're watching shit.
Mhm.
And it works because like she knows, like I pay attention to shit way better than she does.
Mhm.
So like she doesn't like, she doesn't do like bitching at me or anything because I'm playing the game. She knows I'm there, I'm still watching or listening or whatever, but I'm doing something I enjoy at the same time. So I feel you. I would love to be playing my game.
It definitely helps when you're it's like a game you know well, especially something like that. The story's not important. You know what I mean? It's just you can pause it at any time or whatever. But there are certain games where it'd be like it can be difficult to do both. But even then, that's where I could do
tougher.
like that game with like a podcast, you know. But I'm a very multitasking person. I have 2 screens in like every room. This cat game I keep talking about, I basically just have my laptop on me at all times. Like after we eat dinner and we're still watching a show, I'm like, and I gotta get in. And my wife's like, you play that game a lot. And I'm like, I can't. I'm addicted.
Cat play.
I'm addicted to this fucking eugenics game. I can't help it. And I'm so close to the end. I won't like 100% it because it's too hard, but I'm close enough to the end. I'm like, I just have to do it. I have to keep playing this stupid fucking game. But it's great. But yeah, congratulations on the being a multitask screener person. I think we were the OG.
It's definitely it's
brain
added
rot
to my happiness. I'll put it that way. Like I don't think my family understands like how much I enjoy playing it and how like it did take a piece of my soul to not play it for so long.
Right.
Because of like just the general like not wanting to be interrupted shit. And I want to spend time with the wife and all that stuff too. And even like with my kids, like we watch stuff together. But I've always been like, if I could just play my game too, like this would be so much more enjoyable for me.
Right.
And so I finally pulled the trigger and was like, you know what? I'm gonna put a little TV to the side. It's my daddy TV. And we can still watch whatever y'all want to watch on the big TV. But I'm going to be doing my shit over here too. Because I can.
Yeah. In our bedroom, we have like a main TV, but I have a computer monitor like knocked off to the side that like only I can. I mean, my wife can see it, but it's like angled towards me. And so I'm like, I'm just going to play something on this here, and but now I got this little handheld PlayStation portable thing, and that's pretty convenient as well. But yeah, video games are great. What's really helped me, so here's an advice anyone out there. I mean, it can't work for everyone, of course, but one of my wife's favorite things in the world is the Harry Potter franchise, right? Because she's an English teacher.
She excited about that show coming?
Yeah, I think she is. I think I'm like more excited because I don't really have a love for the movies, so and I'm like, oh, I love fucking HBO shows. Let's see what they do. Like I'm not. I don't know. A lot of people online are real mad, like the Black Snape, but I'm like, it is a little weird. If the guy was like super pale, big nose white guy in the book, and now he's a cool looking black guy. That is weird. I mean, it's a different character in some way, but like I don't care enough to be like it's gonna ruin the show or whatever.
You're not invested enough in the world of Harry Potter to say that much about it.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, Ready Player One was my favorite book ever, and they made the worst fucking movie adaptation ever with Steven Spielberg attached to it. And so it was just like, listen, they're gonna fuck shit up. That's how it's gonna be.
They can mess that up, they'll mess up anything.
Yeah, I mean, my wife loved Harry Potter, then that Hogwarts Legacy game came out a few years ago, and she was like, all right, I will now learn video game. Like I am ready to do this. And and it was a learning experience, but now she plays full like huge, 60, 70-hour games on her own. I mean, I'd help her every once in a while here and there and stuff, but in general, like she could handle it, and she's like a gamer these days. So the way that helps me is, so I got this new game, Crimson Desert. I'm sure I played the last couple of weeks on this podcast, and it's very fun. It's gotten better and better. It sucks at the beginning, but it just keeps getting better. She'll be like, she's like, oh,
the opposite
for sure, and she'll be like, we got a couple hours if you want to play. And I'm like, perfect. Like, because she's now more of a gamer, she like kind of gets it. Yeah. Where I always thought like it would suck having to like share the TV, and it kind of does, I guess. But I just bought a second PlayStation, and all right, we're back after lots of technical difficulties. We'll see. We'll make it work. I don't remember what we're talking about. Something about video games.
Technical difficulties.
But we will just pick it up where we needed to, honestly, in the first segment. We're supposed to talk about that, what's happening in the world. That's always segment one. But fucking a huge war. I feel like everyone hates Trump. Like, everyone's come around to be like, oh yeah, this is kind of a bad idea. And I agree with that completely. But I also have just been thinking a lot lately, or what I was reading with you is, I always say, like, I do think it would be like the same thing with if Harris won, because I don't think like the president makes these decisions. I think it's like, super rich pedophile people above them that make these decisions. And so I do think we would kind of be here, but I kind of come around. I think it would be better than this, though. At least they would have forgiven student loans or something, like.
Yeah, we would have had more, probably would have came getting right now.
Right, like they would have.
We're getting many benefits to go along with like the bad shit.
Exactly.
Like, I think with COVID, people got like a little money, so it was like, okay, whatever weird shit, y'all are giving people a little money too. But with this, it's like it's just gonna be pulling weird shit and shit that people disagree with, but no benefit.
Also, somewhat in the political world, there is news that Pam Bondi whether was just fired or is scheduled to be fired by the time this comes out, who is the attorney general who kept acting like she's going to release Epstein files and didn't. And again, it's just a distraction.
I thought she had already got fired or demoted or something like that, or disowned. I thought something had already happened to her.
No, he's stood by her the whole time. Even the statement at the moment, Trump is saying that it's not like firing because he hates her. She's having to leave because she's got a better, different job. And it's like, he's even still claiming that like they're friends or whatever. But yeah, she's definitely earned it, I guess, through protecting the billionaire pedophiles during all this. And she's
been their number one supporter.
I do still really believe that we went to war in Iran at least halfway tied to the Epstein files. Like, I don't.
Oh yeah.
I know that's crazy, but I'm like, I don't see how it's not connected. It really feels like they're like, listen, we'll release the videos of you with these little kids unless you go bomb this place for it yourself. That's what it feels like. So, and then the only thing that makes sense for why Israel would even want to is because they want the greater Israel, which is like a greater collection of land that they've always talked about. And if that's the case, that's crazy. But I've talked about this many times, but it's like America did it. So if to tell another country you can't expand also seems like hypocritical. But I don't think we should fund it. I think I can at least get us all to agree on that. Like, why am I funding through taxes other people killing other? I don't know.
You'll find no argument from me. Yeah. We are hypocrites, and we definitely fund more shit than it seems like we should.
Yeah.
For us to not be like, all individually doing a lot better than we are.
Well, right now the whole student loan thing is about to hit the fan. I'm just trying not to freak out because my payments are about to like triple underneath this new thing when I went and looked it up. But you have like 6 months to do it. So I'm like, well, I'm in no rush. The worst thing they can do is just make me do it in 6 months from now. So
yeah.
I'm just hoping someone, because I saw the first day when they said we were getting student loan forgiveness through Biden, and they were like, go to fill out the thing. I did it like within the hour, right? And I was on the list and it was like, all right, we're just waiting for it to come through. And then someone went to the courts and then they're like, I didn't get any, so I'm suing. And then they just fucking said, never mind all of it. But I would have already had everything to forget because the amount of money was enough to forgive what I still owe. And it's just all fucked. And I'm just to be clear to people out there, like, you better pay your money. I think everyone should have to pay back the original amount of money they borrowed, at least.
Yeah, if not the interest and the interest on interest and shit.
Right, and even if it's just a little bit of the interest, sure. But yeah, the way they're predatory, and I know for me, they told me, like, here's what you pay a month, pay this, and you'll get paid off in 15 years or whatever it was. And I've been paying off way longer than that, and I'm not even close. They're like, oh, didn't you know you were supposed to pay more than that? And I'm like, no. Yeah. How the fuck would I know that? And then, people that have paid those off is like, you should have known that. And I'm like, I just don't think. Like when you get a car or a house, they don't go, here's a minimal but also you got to pay more. You know what I mean? It's a weird system. So
it does. It keeps you trapped.
Right. So I do think when you look at our country paying $200 billion for a war in Iran, as opposed to literally you could defund everything that Democrats and Republicans have wanted. You could build a wall. You could pay off student loans. You could fund Medicare. Like there's all this stuff you could do with that money. But they're like, no, let's go just flush it down the toilet in the fucking Middle East to go have some people kill. It's crazy to me that like there aren't like riots in the streets about this, you know, but if like someone is killed in a certain way, then there would be riots in the street. You know what I mean? Like whereas like this could kill all of us. This like could destroy our whole country.
Slowly.
And they're like, no. But it's like, but if a cop, and I agree, all these cops go are bad, but like that can cause like a fucking uproar, like burn the city down, you know, for like this one individual action. But like literally the people put in charge fucking driving shit on the ground are like, yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And so, and I'm the same. I don't know.
That's an interesting thing though, because and this might be bad to say, but the people who have the time and like the passion to go out and riot on the streets probably don't have the time and the passion to do what it takes to get student loans. I think there's I'm sure there's a crossing between the two.
There's some crossover,
but I don't think I think there's way more on one side than the other, which is why you don't get the rioters who actually like the people who owe student loans aren't going to be the rioters.
Oh, and I'm not talking about rioting for student loans, I guess I say. I'm saying for like...
I thought we were talking about student loans.
No, I'm saying for the Iran war, the $200 billion being spent in Iran.
Shit,
like,
got you.
Like no one, even though that will kill our country, could potentially, you know what I mean? Like instead of using it to help our own citizens, we are using it to kill other people's citizens. And then like no one cares. They're like, well, what are you gonna do about that? But then if a cop killed someone who's just like a normal cop, and I understand that's like still bad, but it's like one man making a rash decision that like was horrible. And then this other one's country. Like they're purposely destroying our economy. And we're like, yeah, I don't know. Can't write about that. I don't know. It's just, and it's something like both sides should be mad about. Maybe that's why it's not riotable. Like riotable, you have to be like your team's thing and other people are mad or else the riot doesn't make sense. So if you like riot and everyone's like, no, I agree with you, then it's like not as fun. I don't know. It's like when you drinking is not as fun when you're 21 or when it's like sort of the same idea. I don't know, but
I'm with you on that.
But I did have to bring up student loans just because it's going to hit the fan. I want everyone to get a heads up if you haven't logged in recently. And what really fucked me or made me mad is when you go to like the actual like FAFSA website or whatever like the main one is, for the government, it'll like do here, put in your info and we'll tell you what your payment should be. And then they'll give you some low number and they're like, all right, go to your main person and tell them. And then they're like, no, it's like triple that. That fucking website's wrong. You know what I mean? So you're like, you motherfuckers. And so anyway, I'm not signing or agreeing to anything until the absolutely last minute in case, again, something happened. I mean, Trump could be fucking impeached. He's about to lose the fucking Senate and the House, and once the Democrats have it, they could impeach him. So who knows?
Tell me this in Oklahoma, because I don't know if it's different from state to state. What's the recourse if you didn't pay their, whatever their triple number is? Like, is it just wage garnishment, or do they have like more severe things? Just wage garnishment.
I've only heard of people getting wage garnishment. Like I know Snappy when he was on here and he used to talk about when he got his paid off, it was all because of wage garnishment. And then one year he got like a huge tax return that like covered it all, or something.
And they would take it.
Yeah. But I don't get enough taxes, you know what I mean? And I think even on the new thing, if I had kids, I could pay less, but I don't. And so it's like, well, then you could pay us more money. And here's the thing is I could probably pay the triple thing. I'm just going to be not able to buy fun shit. You know what I mean? And some people's like, well, that's what it matters.
It takes away from your comfortableness of living, your American dream.
Exactly.
Which is the whole point of getting the student loans, is so we can live the American dream, not have it fucking taken.
Yeah. So it's, it's whatever. And again, I understand the people that are like, you should just have to pay it back. You took a loan. You're like, yeah, I actually understand that argument. I just think some of the predatory natures are bad. And I think if we were going to use a big, large chunk of money to help out people on Earth, helping out the middle class Americans that are struggling with this, and then we just like I think we should use it to relieve medical debt. There's certain things that like it just would help everyone. You relieve this debt and then everyone feels better and it's just a better world. I don't understand how that's not. I don't think you should. I think in the future for student loans, now I would have qualified or whatever, but I think you should have to know like the degree. It only qualifies for certain degrees. Like America needs engineers or whatever. So if you're going for that, then you can do it. You know what I mean? But you can't go get it for an art history major. You know what I mean? Like that's going to have to be for rich kids. They can just pay for it out of pocket.
They can just pay it. Yeah.
So
or they got somebody in the family who will just pay it off when they get out of school.
So so there's that'd be some changes, going on. But anyway, we've talked forever. We had a bunch of technical issues, so we're gonna play a song here, and hoping we get back, it's runs smooth as butter.
Music makes me lose control.
All right, so first song we're going with here is from Sir Nasty.
Hey, the Sir.
Graveyard Entertainment. And the song we're going with here is off of Life of a Legend 2, his newest album.
Hey.
What's your opinions on the album, Soko?
I'm digging it. On my first listen, I could tell vocally he had something going on. So it made it extra dope for me when he explained it on the album that he was getting over COVID when he recorded it. I was like, okay, that's cool. Because I could hear the difference, but I didn't know what it was, and I didn't ask him. But while I was listening to it, he explained it. So I was like, you know what? That's cool. He didn't just let it hang out there or act like nothing was different at all. He explained that, look, motherfuckers, I'm getting over COVID, but I wanted to put out 2 albums in 2 months. So, this is what I had to do to make it happen. And I appreciated that as a fan, not just as somebody who's working with him, but as a fan, I was like, you know what? That's dope that he explained that. And then rather than say, fuck it, put out something old or remix some shit or repackage some shit, he was like, nah, I'm putting out new music Friday the 13th. So I respect that. And I dig the album. So, 2 ways to love it.
Yeah, I like the album a lot. I mean, it's one of my beats, so I know I'm biased there. And these first few songs are not what I'm about to say, so it's like kind of a tease. But I just think the latter half of the album, he has a lot more like deep songs than normal, it feels like. And those are like the stuff I like more. So I do think it's just part of that. So I'm like, oh yeah, I like this one of my favorite Nasty albums, I think. So everyone go by to Bandcamp or find it on your favorite streaming sites. All that.
Life of a Legend 2. Life of a Legend 1 also available. Check it out.
There you go. Right here it is. Legend Music by Sir Nasty.
Let's go.
Somewhere over the rainbow, I is a free nigga. I is the Django.
What the fuck, man?
Legend Music. You rappers wanna question my credentials. 478, motherfucker, I'm essential. I got the baddest bitch that ever went to Central. Pull up on the horse and pop a nigga in his temple. Come on! I hate talking to these hoes cause they simple. Mommy say, Poppy, not so hard, be gentle. Nasty. The women know the sir is presidential. They tell their friends, girl, he's suspenseful. They like that. Good clean dick and they need it. Jason just skeeted. That's what she tweeted. Yes, one of the best, dog, let's keep it G. They get in their feelings when they mention me. I'm a living legend where you bred at. The bitches in Byron wanna fuck me. Yeah, they said that. I'm a OG, not an old nigga. I'm quick to snatch a bitch off the pole, nigga. I can change your life, I can show you better. Walk about the club holding hands like we go together. Any rapper got beef, tell your bro whatever. It's Jason gang, all my bitches tell your hoe whatever. The Glock pop and make you pop lock. Put that on my granddaddy. I'm a pop. What? Them killers at your door, nigga, knock. Them killers at your door, nigga, knock. Come on. Strapped like the SWAT, we are not cops. Come out with your hands up before I pop. Get your top pop, get your block mop. People running outside, y'all stop. You know these people do the most. Watch what you say and watch what you post. Middle Georgia gangsters, the po folks. King James tequila, bitch, low boast. I was wild as a child, drinking Erky Jerky. Shit, I get wild now on that wild turkey. Tell me where them niggas at who shot man, and see if I don't greet them with a shotgun. If I get caught, they might give me life. She sad, but my wife know this my life. I get strength when I kiss my wife. Making love in the studio, I kiss the mic. Mask on my face like this tonight. Them niggas at 5 guys, I got 5 guys. And we gon' drive by and pull a drive by. I'm screaming die during the drive by. Shit. Life of a Legend, Part 2. Fuck you.
Sir Nasty. with
Legend Music. Shouts out to Sir Nasty Graveyard Entertainment.
Yeah.
Always bringing you good music. Always putting it out there, fully available on Bandcamp. If you want every song, you want a slightly trimmed down version, holla at Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, wherever you listen to music at. I will say a lot more songs made it from Life of a Legend 2 than the previous Life of a Legend 1. So Life of a Legend might be the one you want to go ahead and get on Bandcamp. You can listen to that part 2 on streaming and hear most of it. I think you might miss 4 songs out of the full set.
Yeah, I'm curious. I need you to give me a list of all those. Of which ones are my beats that did not, and I'm going to see if I can get some alternate beats possibly, or just kind of just to know, like, oh, that's how you should not sample. That's going to get caught. It's good for the education.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that for you. Because it always surprises me when they try to throw yours on there. I'm like, I know who fucking made that beat. Nobody has this beat, but it's usually like it's probably the melody or some shit. But I did last time we spoke. You gave me some good game about letting them know that, hey, this is part of a sample pack, something. So I typed up a little, speech that I put with every track that I submit that's your music. And some of the ones that came back, I put that and they were like, okay, they let it slide.
Nice.
So we even released, there's one song on there that should have been on the album that later on I put, hey, this is just a melody, loop from a kit that, was free to use. It shouldn't have been flagged. It was I Told Her, I think is the name of it, but we released that as a single.
Nice.
The day after Friday the 13th.
Yeah, so I'll check and see if
still work on doing that.
Yeah, I'll check and see if that's factual. All my old shit, that's for sure a thing. But I would say it was like a year ago. I really got into I just go on TikTok and steal everything, especially so. And not everything, but like a lot of things, and especially or YouTube. I'll go on YouTube and watch some like old Soviet. Stuff or whatever because they were so good at music and then was that they were like better than American stuff, but they were like, here's the Russian version of them doing jazz. You know what I mean? It's like kind of different, but it is still kind of jazz. And you're like, well, who's gonna catch? So I saw all kinds of stuff, but also I just love going on TikTok and someone will go steal this and then play something, and I'm like, okay, because I think what they think's gonna happen, and maybe they're right, but they'll be like, technically I played it, so if this song ever blows up, then they'll have to owe me for this. Whereas I would make an argument. They literally told me I could take it for free.
Yep,
they told me to steal it. And so
I was following orders.
Yeah. So I've done a little bit of that. Like this new song with Karma that came out a couple months ago, that whole melody is just some guy that was like, check out this loop I made. And I'm like, that's my loop now. And I will add drums and a bass to that and make a song. So part of me thinks that's not real, but yeah, a lot of those older the beats Sir Nasty used on that were older ones. Like that beat in particular on that song, I really like it. I haven't been able to pull off the Western twangy beats, so I just haven't done it. And I don't even remember. I need to pull up that beat file to see like what I was using, but I did have this little pack that had the little Wild West gun shooting noises and the horse neighs. And I love giving those to Sir Nasty. I don't know. He kind of fits the sort of Wild West sheriff vibe somehow. I think Shoot the Shooters might have been one of the first ones where you had some gun sounds in there that he played with nicely. Exactly. So that one was very good. All right, let's see. I say let's go ahead and get some TV shows. I don't have many TV shows on my list. I know last time I don't think you did either, so we'll see.
I've got more this time. I actually have enough to where I had to make a list so I wouldn't forget anything. So we should have a good segment this time for y'all.
Nice. All right. Well, I won't try to be too long here. Go ahead and go with your first one.
All right, pulling it up now. You know what? But I remember the first one. So I started a show that I've been hearing about it on podcasts. It's been out. It's on season 2 now. I think season 2 just ended. It's on Hulu. Not sure what else you might catch it on if you're not on streaming, but it's called Paradise. Have you heard of such things?
I have heard of it. Yes. I've heard that it's like the closest thing to Lost since Lost. And I have no idea what it's about. I've just heard that one thing. So that's like got me somewhat intrigued. But then Sterling K. Brown, like the main guy, he's in this other show that my wife used to watch called This Is Us. And he's like good, but he's so over dramatic that sometimes it's like not believe. It's like the way people are good at acting on a stage. And you're like, this is great acting, but it necessarily doesn't make me believe
you're a great
this
thespian, but not a great
TV show.
Star.
Right. And so, I mean, that's a very small thing. And I still it is on my list of things to maybe check out. So yeah, let me know about it.
I'll say this, if you can make it through the first episode, because I started the first episode maybe every bit of 5 or 6 times over the last 6 months, and it always felt boring and shit to me. But it's one of those shows, and I'm trying not to give away anything in case you do want to start it. It reminds me of kind of like Westworld, and I never saw Lost, so maybe Lost compares to it too.
You got to watch Lost. I mean, if you have a way to get, if not, I could get you a way to.
My wife actually watched that without me, and I was kind of pissed. She actually like sat back one day and just watched it while I was at work. I was like, "You bitch."
That's
like,
crazy.
You didn't ask me if I wanted to watch Lost.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, it's really good." I was like, "Yeah, no, I've been saving it." But anyway, it's just one of those where like starting out, you don't know if you're in the present, the past, or their future, and then it kind of jostles you around a little bit. And then once you figure out where they're at and what's going on, it's kind of like, whoa. And like, then it sucks you in a little more.
Yeah. So not to, again, spoil Lost, but the format of Lost. So the way I guess people are comparing it, and Lost, you're like watching them on the island, but then each episode it flashes back to one character's life before the island.
Yep.
So you're getting, I see where it's, got it.
Yeah. I can see where they compare anything, but pretty good though. Like I said, I'm going to finish season 1. Every review I've heard of season 2 has been bad so far, but I'm not going to let that deter me.
I've heard, and this isn't even if it's good or bad. I've just heard the first episode is a 3-parter, and I go, well, then that's called 3 episodes. That's the first 3 episodes. What the fuck you mean? The first episodes are 3 episodes?
3-parter. What? That makes no fucking sense.
So stupid. But just
I'm
make a movie.
Watching it, like I said, it's pretty good. It's got a nice bit of twists and turns, and shadow government, elite, rich shit, world ending type shit, Fallout vibes in a way. So I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's all post-apocalyptic or whatever, right?
Very much.
All right, first on my list is one. So our dog had passed away a few weeks ago, and
condolences on that too. I hated hearing that on the pod.
Right.
I know you said you knew it was probably coming.
Yeah, we did, and we'll talk about it more later probably. I don't know what we're talking about. I was trying to get to a TV show. All right, so it was a show I used to watch, and then I quit watching on Apple TV, and then we needed something light to watch, nothing too serious, so I got into a show called Mystic Quest. It is it's like a comedy on Apple TV. It's got the Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny. I think he created the show, and it's based on like a game studio where like they make some MMO video game. And I've before talked about it and kind of just hated on it because I think the show's not really good, to be honest. Like the concept doesn't really hold up. They're not believable as a game studio. If you actually know anything about video games, you're like, this isn't how I don't think it. There's not just 2 game testers, and I don't know. And so it just doesn't really work as a show that well. But you kind of want to keep watching it because the main character is this girl named Poppy, and then the Rob McElhenney's character, and they're kind of funny. And so you're like, well, I mean, there's a few funny moments, but it's just not that great. But we had already watched the first 3 seasons before, so I was like, well, there's a 4th season. Let's just watch it because we don't really give a fuck at the moment because we're all sad. So we just put it on and then just watch. And I was like, it was a little better than I remembered. I'll say. I was like, this isn't too bad, but it still doesn't like, I don't know. There's just something about like, I need like the world and the lore of a show to actually be like consistent and like, I don't know, and just better, like a better developed world, if you will. And this is very much just like an old sort of like situational comedy, I guess, kind of workplace comedy sort of thing. And so it's fine. There are funny moments, but it's not like my shit, So that's my take on Mystic Quest.
So it's like one of those, like just a couple different settings comedies. Like they don't take you all around to like different places and do shit. It's like, basically it's their game studio and that's the main setting.
Right. And so like and I want to say like all the humor comes from like one of the bosses just being a little dweeb and everyone kind of giving him shit, and it's like, all right, yeah, we get it. It's like, it's a little one note a little bit, if you will. And I mean, there are parts that are good, but it's just overall, when you like look back on it, you're like, it's really not that good. But in the moment you can watch it and be like, this is fine. So that's my whatever rating that is. So 5 out of 10 or something.
Average at best, people. Average at best.
Yeah. And they have like a spinoff show as well, which I think is crazy. That I'm like, how'd y'all get a spinoff show? And I'm not gonna
already got a spinoff? Yeah, that's weird. When new shows get spinoffs too quick, that's weird. Then again, I felt like Young Sheldon came a little too quick. I felt like Big Bang should have been over with for a little bit.
My problem with all of the Big Bang Young Sheldon stuff is Young Sheldon should have been called something totally different because it's better than the Big Bang Theory by like a significant amount. It's not even the same type of show. But then it also had a spinoff that is more like the Big Bang Theory. It's like George and Mindy's first marriage, whatever their fucking names are. And so,
oh yeah, they did do that. I forgot about that.
It's just a spinoff making machine, I guess.
All right, numero 2. This is a old show I went back to so that I can watch the reboot or relaunch. What do they call it when they just bring a show back?
Is it new cast or is it like a continuation?
More like a continuation. It's Scrubs, just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't call that a reboot, but I think they do sometimes. But to me, a reboot has to have like all new characters, but it's the same people.
It's like so what is it when they call it the same thing, but they do like a new actor plays the same role? What's that shit called?
I don't know. I'm saying like Aunt Vivian and things like that. I don't know. It's just, I'm not sure. But are you mean like the whole cast is new?
Yeah, like the whole, like it's still,
to me that would be a reboot.
The same show or the same movie, but they're updating it with like all new actors. It's not a continuation.
Right. To me that would be a reboot because that's what it would be in movies. But I guess in TV show world they do call it. But to me, like the new King of the Hill season isn't a reboot. That's season 14 of King of the Hill. You know what I mean? Like that's so I don't know.
Yeah, before I wanted to start the 2026 Scrubs, I went ahead and went back and I'm going to watch all the old Scrubs and then start it just because, I like to do shit like that. And it gives me a chance to let like a whole season build up. That's definitely not a show I want to watch like and have to wait week to week. Like I just want to binge it whenever they actually have all the episodes. So I went back and watching Scrubs. I still enjoy it, not as much as I did when it first came out. It definitely doesn't hit the same notes as Seinfeld did for me when I went back and watched Seinfeld. I'm actually looking forward to like in maybe a year or so watching Seinfeld all over again. But Scrubs ain't bad. I've been letting that be my, end of the night. I can fall asleep on it, sleep through a couple of episodes and not really worry about it and just keep going. So waiting to get to the end of that so I can start the new one and then we'll revisit whether or not the new one was necessary, is better, or is worse.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big Scrubs hater. In general, I've watched, I don't know, maybe half of the episodes, or something. I don't know. I never like sitting and watch them all, but I used to watch it quite a bit because it was very popular when I was in college. A lot of people had the whole season, season 1 and 2 or whatever on DVD. And I just always thought it was overrated. I just don't like Zach Braff. I don't like silly humor necessarily. Silly humor is not my thing. And the show's just a little too silly for me, and so. And also back in the day, as someone that was watching The Office as it was running and Scrubs was running at the same time, that was a rivalry online between those two. And I was, Team Office all day. And I had friends that would like argue with me about this, the same ones that now would probably claim they like The Office more. And I'm like, no, I remember you fucking loving Scrubs. God damn it. I thought it was funny and it made me want to like Scrubs when I saw like the younger generation claiming all of its humor relies on sexism and racism. And they were like trying to get mad at it. And I'm like, I don't remember, but there's no way Scrubs was fucking sexist and race, like too overly sexist and racist. You know what I mean? Like that just wasn't the type of show it was, but maybe I'm not as familiar with it or whatever, but
no, it definitely used sex and race, but I think adding "ist" onto both of those words is a stretch. With Scrubs, like, yes, there was sex and, women's sex and men's sex and different things. And
I liked the black dude and the Latina lady, but I didn't like the white people of the main four. And then
I see where like he'd be one of those main characters you feel like is your least favorite. I know that's a thing for you with shows you don't like. It's like when you don't like the main character.
It's hard.
So I can see him being one of those.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just never liked Zach Braff much. All right, next on my list is what I told my wife it is the pinnacle of television. Because my wife is not like a huge fan of this stuff, but it is like the type of shit I love. It's on HBO Max or just HBO, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days. It's called Neighbors. There's only 6 episodes, and I think the season's done. I've been trying to explain this to people at work because it's hard to describe, but it's like if a TikTok was a TV show, or if like you got to see what happened before a Judge Judy episode. Like say you're watching Judge Judy and you're like, man, I wish I could see that. Like you're seeing it before that it gets to Judge Judy, if you will. So it's like real life neighbor disputes and they find these people that are like, you know, they talk to the really nice cameras or handy cams are filming it. So it looks like a real TV show or whatever, but they're real people. And it's like in a documentary style. So it's like one person's mad that their neighbor tore down their fence or whatever, and they think they should have to pay for it. And then, but they like dive deep into the people. So by the end, it's like they're all weird. You just get to see Americans, how fucking weird we are. And like one lady, she's like an old lady with an OnlyFans, and that's why she wants her fence, because she's trying to take her nude pictures. And then the old lady that tore down her fence is like an old fat lady, and it's like, she's just jealous of my body. And that lady's like, how dare you? But then you go in that old lady that like was mad, or that like tore down the fence, and she has 2 squatters living with her who are just talking shit to her all. So then you kind of feel bad for her for that. And then like, I don't know, it just gets layers and layers deep. And then you're like, God, this is so fucking good. I love this show. And then the last episode of the season isn't it 2 neighbors disputing. It's one guy who runs around his neighborhood in a yellow thong, and like all of his neighbors hate him and are like, fucking put clothes on, you weird ass old man. And then he's like, how dare you? But they convince him to go to a nude resort with other old people. So you're just seeing nude old people everywhere. My wife's like, I don't want to look at all these old dicks. And that's why she's complaining about it. And I'm like, this is peak television. I don't think you understand. This is the best thing I've ever seen on television. And then the old man thinks he meets a young girl who's going to be into him, but she clearly, I mean, she says to the camera she wants a sugar daddy, but then he like texts her and she doesn't respond within a minute, and he texts again, and then it does like the spiral camera thing. And it's like, this old man is basically a 19-year-old boy freaking out about a girl not texting him, and he's like having an anxiety attack. And you're like, I think this old man's autistic. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many layers. And the girl trying to get with him is also a white rapper. And they show her video, and she's just showing her butthole in her rap video. So she clearly has her own. So just, there's so many layers. And I'm like, this show is so fucking good. So highly recommend Neighbors.
You always find like the most unique like reality shows. Like, yeah. As far as like, you know, within people in my life, I'm sure there's many people who know about it and know it's a great show, but like people I know don't necessarily like put me on to shit like that. Yeah. Like when you put me on the other HBO one where the guy was the rehearsal, shit like that. Like, you know, I wouldn't know about shit like that from my other circles of friends, but you always like find that unique shit.
One of my all-time favorite sort of hilarious HBO shows in modern history is How To with John Wilson, which I talked about a lot. It's just a guy filming in New York, and then he like cuts it all up to episodes that are like artistic and cool and stuff. But this feels like that, but like with a Jerry Springer edge. You know what I mean? It's like artistic and it's still like filmed well, but it's like the underbelly of America and like people bickering. And I don't know, there's something about it I just love. One episode hits really close to home because it's people mad that another neighbor has all these cats. And the guy's like, how's my dog supposed to play outside with all these cats out here? And I'm like, I'm on this guy's side. So like you start choosing sides, you know, in the arguments. And then people are mad that on the episodes, most of them, there's like 2 sets of problems. So you see like these 2 and then these 2, and they cut back and forth, kind of feed into that TikTok mentality of like quick cuts or whatever. So my wife doesn't like that, but I'm like, no, this is where we're at. This is what we need for our attention span. You got to have the quick cuts, or else we would have already turned this shit off, I think, you know? So anyway, I like it. Highly recommended by me. Go check it out.
Otherwise people are like, boring.
Right. All right, what you got next?
All right, next up, I've got a movie next. This is from Hulu. I probably got the name wrong. I think it's Nick, Mike, and Lola with Vince Vaughn. Fucking awesome movie.
I think it's Mike, Nick. I think the 2 names are in the middle.
I know I probably had the double wrong or in the wrong spot.
But I know what you're talking about.
But I was typing it from memory. But yeah, it's 1 Mike, 2 Nicks, and a Lola. And it's just a funny fucking movie. Like, I enjoyed it. And it's funny with action, which isn't always done right. But when they do it right, where it's like serious, like action movie shit, but they're also funny, like it's a beautiful thing to me. So really enjoy that. I rarely don't like a Vince Vaughn movie. I honestly can't think of anything he's been in that I don't enjoy. Even that serious ass movie he did about him being in prison. Did you ever see that one?
I don't think so.
Man, even that shit was good. Like he played like I don't think he was a skinhead, but he was bald in the movie. And he was just like, it was literally a movie about him being in prison and like fucking people up and them trying to kill him. Like it was a serious role. But good shit. I really enjoyed that. It was a nice surprise on the weekend when like, you know how you're looking for shit to watch and you can't find anything? Like there's just nothing good. and then you see some new shit, and you're like, yeah, but it probably sucked. And then you hit play, and it's fucking beautiful. It's good. It's funny, action packed. I recommend Mike, Nick, and Lola.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I've heard on like some reviews that people say it's like it's what movies were like, probably like 90s, early 2000s, where it's like it just has a good, fun premise. So like, make the movie because of that. You know what I mean? It's not about having a franchise or a. It's just like, yeah, here's a fun movie. So there's some. I also do like Vince Vaughn. He has a Apple TV show. Me and my wife watched and liked, which I'm sure I talked about on here. But I think it was called Bad Monkey. That I think you in particular would like this show. There's something about it because it has like Caribbean vibes, Key West. So it's got, I don't know, it's got good scenery, but it's a little detective-y.
I got to get on Apple at some point. I keep getting Apple recommendations. I'm just not there. I'm on Peacock.
Listen, you can add Apple TV for $3 to your Peacock account. So I told my wife to cancel her Apple. I'll add it, but then when I added it, I could add hers to my account. So it just, her Apple TV is now on my Peacock account, and it's all included.
It's like the Hulu Disney deal.
Yeah. It was so if they're still doing it, I would highly recommend. I mean, it's totally worth it. Because I could see where people are like, I don't know about paying the $15 a month because it is really just for original shows, but $3 a month, I mean, I feel like still. So, all right, next on my list is one that's currently in the middle of the season while we're recording this. So I'm sure I'll talk about it again next month. If it, maybe not, we'll see. It's called DTF St. Louis. It is an HBO show. It's got Jason Bateman and David Harbour, I believe is his name. I always call him just Hopper from Stranger Things because that's what everyone knows him as, but I believe his name is David Harbour. And then it also has the chick from Freaks and Geeks. That she's been in a million things, but to me, she's always the girl from Freaks and Geeks. She's also the chick on Grandma's Boy, if you don't know, and season 5 of Mad Men, who Dawn has an affair. You know, a lot of random things she's in. But they're like the 3 main characters. And it's kind of like we were talking about earlier, like you don't quite know the timelines. At first, it's a little confusing, but I think knowing it going in would make it easier. Like the first episode, you kind of get the whole story. Like someone's dead by the end of the first episode. And you're like, oh my God, I thought we were taking the whole season to do this, you know? So, you know, you kind of think you know what's going to happen. Someone's dead by the end of the first episode. And then I was like, what are they going to talk about in the second episode? But then someone else tells the story differently. So you're like, get like a slightly, and then you're like, well, you don't really know. So you have like 2 unreliable narrators. And then you have like these detectives trying to piece it together, you know? But what makes it interesting, and this kind of spoils it, but not really, because it's the first fucking episode. So the Jason Bateman character is a weatherman, and the David Harbour character is his sign language guy who like does the sign language for him on the TV. And exactly what Soko as currently did. And Jason Bateman has sex with David Harbour's wife. So like they have an affair, but then you learn that the David Harbour character, he has like this dick disease. It's not a disease, but it's like dick's curved up, and it's like he thinks it's a disorder, but like has a name or whatever, and it's like part of a joke. But somehow he can't get erections or something. So like there's a lot of like eventually throughout the season, you're like, Jason Bateman's also in love with David Harbour, like on a friendship dude level. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like he's involved with both of them, and you get all kind of weird and cuckoldy, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck's happening, you know, but
possible throuple.
Right. And so there's just lots of like, this is weird and what's going to happen. So you're watching each episode being like, well, just fucking, I guess we got to get to the end of the story. But it is good. I don't think it's quite as good as I thought it was going to be going into, just off the actors. And, you know, I was like, man, but it could turn me around. You know, it could be like, no, it ends so fucking good that it is really, I mean, it is good at the moment. I would say it's not great. Good, not great is my recommendation or my thoughts at the moment.
So DTF does not stand for down the fuck.
It does. It's the name of a website in the show, DTF St. Louis.
Okay.
And so
I ain't gonna lie. Like when I first saw the name of the show, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch a sex show.
Right.
And so that kind of steered me off it. But everything I've heard is that it's a great show and it should be watched like on podcasts. So, and the plot, I've heard different parts of it, and it just, I don't know, because I heard the thing about the weatherman and the sex and the weird, like the dick thing, I was like, okay, it is a sex show.
Right.
But it sounds like it's more than that, so I may need to check that one out.
Yeah, it's more of like a crime thriller than a sex show.
Okay, yeah, see, that shit, DTF threw me the fuck off.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's going to be about St. Louis people, like, having, like, freaky sex things happening.
No, I mean, I'll spoil what the name, because it's the name of a website. And on the first episode, Jason Bateman tells David Harbour, he's like, have you heard of this website, DTF? So you should sign up for it. And so, like, that kind of gets the ball rolling for all the stuff. But maybe it comes back around at the end, too. I don't know, you know. All right, what you got next?
All right, next up, and this is a short one, just a movie I like better than I thought I would. Even though I've seen it, I was never really like super into The Wizard of Oz. But I've enjoyed the 2 Wicked movies, and I don't even like musicals, but I sat down and watched the second one. It's on Peacock now. Watched that with one of my kids. I enjoyed it. It was decent. Like, and I think I really like the fact that like Dorothy was not a main character, and like they basically had her be like a faceless character in this second one. I thought that was well done and kind of cool. And it was just a nice, just a nice little sit down with the family type movie. Like I said, I'm not into musicals or like Broadway shit at all, but I really enjoyed both of those. Like, I didn't sit there like waiting for it to be over or anything like that. But I also didn't cry. I've heard that people cried. It didn't like tug at a heartstring. And I'm not saying I don't cry during TV shows and movies. Like, I've been gotten on plenty of occasions, but that one just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Though. I enjoyed it.
My wife saw the first one and liked it. She hasn't seen the second one yet. I just think it looks so bad. I don't know. But I also am not a huge musical fan. I don't like anything about the look of it. The aesthetics, if you will. And I know it's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz or whatever, so I am aware that it's not about like the other stuff. And as a kid, I liked The Wizard of Oz well enough. I didn't love it, but it'd come on TV and you'd watch it, it's like whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I also think the interviews the actresses done promoting the stuff just made me not care about it. They were so weird. Ariana Grande and I can't remember what the other lady's name is. They just were like always groping on each other and being like, we have this soul connection through the movie. And you're like, cool.
Yeah, they tried to bring like and it felt fake and forth, like a fake sexual tension to kind of bring intrigue.
Right.
To the movie into their career, that shit. And I don't know. I feel like they did it too to copy the Fantastic Four lead and leading lady. Like, they had the exact same shit going on when Fantastic Four came out. Like, it was almost the same storyline of, hey, every time these 2 actors together, there's weird sexual energy. And
right.
Like, then they did it for Wicked, and I was like, are y'all just doing the same shit to promote? Like, what is this? But anyway, yeah, I didn't like that part of it. I thought it was weird. Stupid.
Yeah, those fucks. All right, next on my list, another show on HBO that we're in the middle of, a show called Rooster, which I think is very good. It's from the creator of Ted Lasso, which is another good comedy show, and it stars Steve Carell, who's maybe the greatest male comedic actor of all time on TV. When you rank him up, like, he's going to be way up there or whatever. And it's got a lot of heart. The show does, it's like a good story. Basically, it's the Steve Carell character. His name's not Rooster, but he writes a book, and then he's an author of a book series. The character's name is Rooster, and then the character is basically him. So he is, but he isn't, And then his daughter is a professor at a college. Some shit's hit the fan where she might lose her job. They basically tell him, if you come in are a guest professor for the semester, your daughter can keep her job. And daughter doesn't know that, but so now he's on the campus for the semester, and then he's not a college guy or whatever, and he's like just slightly smarter than his Michael Scott character in The Office, and so he's always getting into some shit. And but it's like a sweet, good show, I think. And I told my wife, if this would have came out in like 2018, I think this would be like one of the biggest shows in the world. Like, everyone would be talking about it, because it's like, but shows these days, I don't know, they're just a little different, they don't care about the heart factor, I guess, or something. But I do think it's very good. So if you have HBO, definitely worth watching.
Yeah, that's another one where I think the name probably threw me off or kept me from even wanting to check it out. But now as you describe it, once again, I think you've added something to my queue that never would have been in there. So I can see myself checking out Rooster.
Right. I saw earlier we mentioned like new generations getting mad about different stuff. And I saw like in the show, Steve Carell's daughter punches a guy in the face, and it's like a joke, right? Like, you laugh at it or whatever. People are online like, oh, so women hitting men are just funny now. And it's like, well, it always has been funny. And it's just is what it is. I'm sorry. It just is. Like, I hate to be that guy, but
kids hitting adults is fucking funny. The same way, not in an abusive way, but like in a movie or something, when like an adult fucks up a kid or a group of kids, it's funny as fuck. I'm sorry. My new one or my next one is the Daredevil TV series. They bought it back on Disney. Definitely, I know you're not a fan of Marvel, but if there were any of those series that you could get into, I think you would appreciate Daredevil.
I watched Daredevil when it was on Netflix.
Nice. Okay, so you're already on that group of series that were kind of like separate from everything else.
Yeah, it was the Defenders. And I actually really liked the first season of all the shows. I mean, Iron Fist wasn't great, but it was whatever. Season 2 of Daredevil with Ron the Punisher, I fucking hate it. I don't give a shit about the Punisher. Everyone loves him. He's a fucking cop superhero. Cops love him. They put this fucking decal on their fucking cars. And I just found him really boring. And so I gave up on Daredevil then. But I think Jessica Jones is one of the greatest shit. And I know she's in the new season of Daredevil. But I'm not going to watch 3 seasons of Daredevil just to get up to the newest season of Daredevil that people are like, finally, it's good again. You know what I mean? It's like there's so much in between what I've seen and where it's at now that it's just a lost cause.
Then he like guest stars on the other shows, and then they did Defenders. So yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah, and I watched the Defenders, so I did do all that.
I'll say this: it's because it's such a different. Because the story of this one is like picking up such a different place. I don't think watching it from there, like if you pretended you never saw any of the Devils and you started from where they're picking up at, I don't think it's a bad show that way either. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to know the whole background. I think you could pick up seeing where the characters are and having them explain things as they go. And they'll talk about like relationships from the past and shit. And I think you could just watch it. I don't even necessarily think you got to go back.
Yeah, but I'm not going to buy Disney for it. So I refuse to support Disney. I don't know why. It just in my gut, I refuse to subscribe to Disney. I had Hulu, and then they're like, now your Hulu is also Disney. I canceled it. I understood they owned Hulu before, but I was like, nah, I don't
it's Walt Disney's frozen head, man. Like, some people are not comfortable with frozen heads, and I get it.
I just think all their decisions they've made as a business and their content, I don't like what they've done with Marvel. I used to love Marvel as a kid. I don't like what they did to Star Wars. I don't really care one way or the other about it. Like, I just don't think they're good with their stuff. And then I work with someone who loves everything Disney does, and I'm like, well, yeah, you're the type of person I'm not. Like, they make this for your type of people. Yeah. And it's like, they are not making stuff for me. You know, it's not prestige TV. It's like bubblegum action stuff, which is fun. I just don't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, if you're not into it, you're not into it.
Yeah. So fuck Disney. All right. Next on my list.
No mouse house around here.
That's right. Is Shrinking, another Apple TV show. I got one more episode that I'm done with this season. It's Jason Segel, Harrison Ford. God, I wish I could remember the black chick's name because I'm a big fan of hers, but I can't. Jessica something. I don't know. Ashley Johnson. I don't know. I'm trying to think some generic ass name, but I can't think of what it is. But in the first 2 seasons of the show, it had a very sad vibe, and you know the whole thing is Jason Segel's wife had died, so he's like a recently become a widow or widower, whatever one it is. And then he's like kind of spiraling and not taking care of his daughter, and his neighbors are having to help him. And it's like a sweet show, but also sad. It's like, you know, just lots of feels, but also still a comedy. Still has some of that How I Met Your Mother vibes. I guess it's just because Jason Segel's in it. You know what I mean? But like, there's something about just that. His humor, I guess, just kind of penetrates the show or whatever. And so me and my wife like the first 2 seasons, and this 3rd season I do still like it. It just feels like a different show. It's like kind of just all happy, like all of the sad vibes are kind of just gone, which I think a lot of people are like, good, but I'm like, it is kind of a different show than what we were used to. I don't know. And so good show. I would still recommend it to anyone. It's really well made. A lot of really good actors, and you know there's laugh out loud funny parts, you know, where you're like, oh my God, you know, like they'll say a line and just catch you off guard or something. But yeah, I was just surprised. If the first 2 seasons I didn't want to love because I'm a Harrison Ford hater, and but he's good in this, you know, if like it fits his. I just think he's really overhyped because he doesn't have the range. People act like he's so good at different things. I'm like, well, he plays the same character and everything, but this character is perfect for it. So like it works, you know what I mean? So they're all therapists, by the way. That's where the name Shrinking comes from. So anyway, good shit.
Right.
All right. The one thing I try to talking about is I did watch Sinners. It's not as fresh as it was, you know, a couple weeks ago when I watched it, but It was fine. I will say, and then I think it's gonna be funny since you know it all. Up until that point of the movie, where it all of a sudden has supernatural stuff. So like they're doing this dance in the barn. All of a sudden you look over and there's like someone from like the 1980s, and there's like an African person, and then there's a ghost of some other black person or like ancestor, and it's like people from the future are also there. I guess that makes something in the 1980s. I thought that shit sucked ass. I thought everything before that was so good, and it didn't have to be about vampires. It could have been the Italians were coming from Chicago to get them. And I think that would have been a better movie. I think if the Italians were coming to get the smoking stack, and then they were holed up in that barn attacking the Italians who they fucked over in Chicago, it's a better movie, personally. But I don't really care about the fantasy elements I get. It just, none of that stuff really got me. And even like, I liked Preacher Boy's singing, you know, and it's like all his unique voice and he's like really killing it. But they're like, yeah, let's remix this with every decade of black music. I'm like, now the song sucks. The song was so good. And then they start fucking, I don't know. I was like, I just felt like that one part really shifted the movie for me where I was like, and I understand like Coogler does make like black films, you know, it's like that's for the audience. But again, I think it could have still been a black story without being like, and now let's shoehorn in every black thing. You know what I mean? As opposed to being like, here is the one, like, this is a slice of this time period. But he like couldn't let away, be like, no, we need someone on a DJ table, on the turntables. And then we'll have someone out there. My wife didn't even notice the ghost until that one twerked. And she's like, what is happening? I was like, have you not noticed all this shit? And then I had to rewind it and re-show it to her because she was like kind of confused about it all. So in general, I think it's very good. I love Michael B. Jordan. I think this was not his best movie. So for the fact he won an Oscar for this is funny, but that is normally how the Oscars works. Like Leo DiCaprio won it for The Revenant, not for, you know, something that you would think or something. But he was good in it, but it wasn't. I think he was better in Creed personally. You know what I mean? Like as far as acting goes and stuff. So anyway, I think it's good. I don't know if I agree it's like the greatest thing of all time, but it's a solid 8. And I think it could have been better. Again, I think it just been better without the vampires and stuff. I don't know. And then me and my wife are also very confused. Like, oh, so as soon as the vampire turns other vampires, they just know musical skills. Like all of a sudden now they can just play the banjo. And again, this is small stuff. This is me looking at it from a sci-fi lens and not a fantasy lens because it's a fantasy thing where I'm like, I need to know how is this working? How are they turning them so quickly? How, you know, because that's the stuff I'd want to know in any vampire TV show or something I'm watching. I'm like, I want to know the lore of how this works. But it looked good and it was a fun little show.
And I'll say, like, as far as like the whole like ghost time travel thing, I obviously didn't like it either because I completely blocked that part of the movie out of my mind. And I've only seen it once. Like
right.
it wasn't a rewatch for me. So I did want to say I probably do agree with you on that because I completely blocked that whole thing out. Like as you were describing it, I was like, wait, that did happen. Like, I was
right,
like,
because
I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
It doesn't match the rest of
that
the
shit did happen.
show.
It was like very acid trippy, but you know, it was there.
Yeah, I think that's what my wife saw it too. Was like they're so entranced by the music, and I'm like, no, I get what they're doing. I just don't like it. I don't think it's a good choice.
I just don't know why they decided to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was another thing. Oh yeah, I didn't see Creed, so I couldn't say Michael B. Jordan's acting skills in one versus the other. I mean, he's all right. He's always just okay in whatever movies I see him in. I don't ever see it like as these great roles. But and I love From Dusk Till Dawn. So like to me, it was just like an updated version of that, just with black and then white vampires.
But without Selma Hayek.
I think the vampire thing you were talking about, where like all of a sudden they could do different things. They went with the hive mind vampire version.
I've never heard of that.
Connected to the one.
I guess so. Like I've
watched quite a few different vampire shit.
Well, no, I haven't. So
you'd have to see enough vampire.
In True Blood, which I've watched, because my wife is a big fan of. They are connected, like they're one creator. They kind of have a sense, but they don't just know everything. They don't just all of a sudden learn. That's like in a sci-fi where the bugs have a hive mind. Like this is just a new thing for vampires that I think is.
They did. They turned it up a lot because they do have like the whole lineage connection to whoever your creator is, and sometimes if the creator dies, then everybody they created dies. It's different in different shit, different shows, different movies. But they turned it up way high as far as like, oh, now you know everything this vampire's known for centuries kind of shit.
I personally did not find any of it racist that the vampires are white. I know when the movie came out, that was a big thing. Like, oh, the white people stealing the black people's music. I didn't even get that message necessarily. Like, I understand the music attracted that vampire. I did not view it as he represents all of white culture going to stuff, but maybe that was like I don't know. I just didn't view it that way necessarily.
I think people were looking for that as a subtext. I just think they happened to be in the middle of nowhere, like loud, and like they were looked at as food, like it's fucking vampires at the end of the day.
But
like
during the acid trip,
it could have been anybody in there making all that noise, and they would have went to eat them.
Right. During the acid trip dance, the walls disappear from the barn, and then the vampires can just see in like it's not there. So there is some sort of power they have to see this music or whatever, where it attracts them. But yeah, it's not like he's just stealing from black people. He just killed 2 white people before he gets there, and then makes them join his band. So I'm like, I think y'all are looking too much into.
Yeah, he was just a fucking band leader. Like anybody who he bit was gonna end up joining the band.
Yeah, that's how I saw it too. And then I thought the very last scene, I'm sure a lot of people in the theaters thought that was awesome or horrible. You know what I mean? Like the very last, like now we're in the 1990s. I thought it was cool, but I thought it was unnecessary. Personally, I was like, oh, you didn't need that. I don't know. It kind of felt out of place, but I think it was just Michael B. Jordan was like, I would like a cool outfit that would be like 1993, and because he has a cool outfit on in that thing. And then the main the girl that character's into, the like white black girl, I know she became pretty popular or whatever, but I thought she was good. But it's crazy, she was on all the posters, and I was like, she's like the 7th lead or something. I felt like until like she's at the end, they're like, oh, I guess she is that important or whatever. But I mean, I know that kind of threw me off. I expected her to be in it a lot more for some reason.
Yeah, she wasn't in too much of it. But overall, like I said, it's not a classic in my mind, but I didn't think it was a bad movie at all.
Right. Well, like I said, Michael B. Jordan won an Oscar and it got nominated for a bunch of stuff. So, I mean, people did like it out there. But it caused a lot of arguments online. So I had to just watch it to catch up, I guess.
Now, it very well might be the best, quote unquote, black horror movie. Like, I don't know that I can name 5, but
Leprechaun 4.
If you want to call that a black horror movie, then it might be amongst the best.
Yeah. I'm trying to
I know a lot of people go with Candyman, but Candyman's black. And yeah, it does take place.
He's black,
like
but it's not a black culture area, movie.
His main antagonist is like the white lady, like, and usually whoever the ghost is going after. I don't know. If he went after all black people, I think that maybe make it more of a black movie, I guess. A black horror movie. I don't know. I don't know what qualifies to make it a black horror movie versus just a horror movie.
Well, to me, it's just what makes a black comedy versus a normal comedy. I do think it's like there's plenty of
rules then, right?
Well, no, I don't think that's it. I think you could even have a black comedy that didn't even have a majority black cast. It's a cultural thing. I don't know how to explain it, of course, but like there's many just normal comedy movies that have black actors and it's not like a black comedy. But then there's sometimes you're watching like like Undercover Brother is a black movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to, I guess it has to be a parody with a black painting or something, you know?
In the 90s, they had a string of them that were good. Sprung, Trippin'. What's the one I want to think of? Booty Call. Booty Call.
Booty Call is great.
Mine. Like,
I always forget, what was the characters were named Black and Blue, were like the main characters. They had a whole series. There was like a trilogy and they were always getting in trouble. I used to watch, they were like probably my favorite black movies back in the day, but I don't remember what they're called at the moment. All right, let's play a song. We've talked way too long. And all my goddamn echoes going to drive me crazy. I'm going insane. Next we're going with here is from It's Your Boy H2.
H2, what up, what up, what up?
And he hit me up and was like...
I know it's got bones in it, and I'm on it.
Oh, there you go. He hadn't sent me that shit yet. He hit me up and was like, hey, you didn't play all my shit from Emo Icon. What's up? And I was like, well, they weren't on my beats. So I just skipped them, but I do have some, so I told him I'd play it. I'll at least play one or two.
Man. You gotta know the rules.
So we're gonna do one that's not on one of my beats.
But if you're an internet friend, just know if you submit an album, it's gonna be the Mo beats that are gonna get the preference.
Correct. And if I have to play the other ones, we can. But yeah, I want to hear my shit, obviously. All right, let's go fishing by It's Your Boy H2. Let's give it a listen.
long distance, but I feel a part of my heart has been missing. Since the day you left, everything's so different. Some days I wish we could just go fish. What a pop, I know that you're long distance, but I feel a part of my heart has been missing. Since the day you left, everything's so different. Some days I wish we could just go fish. What a pop, it's me, your little man, and I'm sure that you noticed me needing a little hand. Everything hit the fan the day that you left, and since then when I breathe it feels like my last breath. I mean, I'm still smart, off drugs and healthy. Now I'm learning the hard way just how to help me. See, you're the one who raised me, that alone changed me. You gave me a choice, you would never make me. For that I have a voice that makes them go crazy. Always supported me, never let them shorten me. Even helped me pay those idiots recording me. Guess what, Pop? Now I'm recording me. Got my own shine, on my own time. What you wanted, I'm my own boss, on my own grind. Working every day to make sure that I don't lose my mind. And just wishing you was here, cause I can bait my own line now. What a pop, I know that you're long distance, but I feel a part of my heart has been missing. Since the day you left, everything's so different. Some days I wish we could just go fish. What a pop, I know that you're long distance, but I feel a part of my heart has been missing. Since the day you left, everything's so different. Some days I wish we could just go fish. Losing you reminded me that nothing ever lasts. I just wanna sit and reminisce about the past, have a laugh, and on the real, it don't matter what we catch. We in this boat together and each other all we have. Hey, look at that, a whole group of turtles. You was tough as a shell, wouldn't let a thing hurt you. Was a stand-up dude to the fullest. And when my friends came around, they'd all say my pop was the coolest. Yeah, mom says hi, we wish we still had y'all, but I know you wasn't happy here without mama. I just wanna cut up and joke like we used to, cause lately those are things I ain't really been used to. Wishing I could talk to you one last time, one last fish off of one last line. Park up on the dock, show the fam what we caught, and I think I'd be straight to the day that I meet y'all, yeah. What a pop, I know that you're long distance, but I feel a part of my heart has been missing. Since the day you left, everything's so different. Some days I wish we could just go fish. What a pop, I know that you're long distance, but I feel a part of my heart has been missing. Since the day you left, everything's so different. Some days I wish we could just go fish.
It's your boy H2
deep music
with Let's Go Fishing.
Deep music from H2. Salute to H2. Shout out to Pops.
There you
Wish
go.
he would have just gone fishing, man. That's deep shit, man. Appreciate that, H2.
There you go. Yeah, I went fishing a lot with my male figures in my life as a kid. With my dad and my grandfather was like our thing. We're not hunters, if you will, but we did. They both like fishing.
Hunter fishermen.
And so yeah, real cool stuff. Also, I got to shout H2. I know I say it every time, every week, but his 2 verses on my next album are so good. I've been mixing them. I had to upload it last night. I was like, I will just mix this every day forever. I will never stop. So I just said, fuck it. Even though like our song Indifferent, I'm still like not great on, but I'm like, fuck it. None of them will ever be perfect. But H2 just kills the 2 verses he is on to where like when I hear him, I'm like, are these the best H2 verses that exist anywhere? But I know, again, it's just the biases of my own music and all that. But I'm excited for people to hear that. And I think everyone really kills it. And I hope everyone just really, I feel like I've really fallen off on the music stuff as far as like people caring about it. I think it sounds good, you know, so I just hope people listen when it comes out or whatever. But I'll need to do some promo or some shit, but it's so impossible.
Nah, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing those feature verses from H2 now. You got a date for the album yet?
Yeah, it should be April 17th. I mean, I'm pushing it close with just 2 weeks for it to get to all the stuff, but it normally gets there within 2 weeks. You know, there's been maybe once ever that it took longer than that. So I'm going to say it'll probably get there, but fuck it. If it's late, it's late.
I'm looking forward to that. You know, I support you, so I'll be checking it out when it drops. You gonna make sure you put it on Bandcamp too?
Yeah, I gotta just remember, you know, because what happens is that release comes up and I'm like, oh fuck, I haven't uploaded it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I don't think there's like a pre-schedule it like there is with others. You know what I mean? You can save a draft, I think.
But you got to remember to like actually,
yeah,
you know,
So
make it available.
I'm waiting for it to, like, when you submit shit through DistroKid, it takes a few days for it to all process and gives you the ISRC number. And then once that happens, I'll send all the like percentages emails to people, and then go on BMI, register them with BMI, which is some bullshit, but you got to do it. You don't have to, but if you want to make $50 every 3 months, you can do it. And, so might as well. And that's just part of the process. Really what's my album wise, something I've been debating is like the song order, like that's something I cared a lot about, it's already submitted now, but I was even debating up to the end because I was like, it starts with like 2 hype songs and the album overall isn't that, I'm like, am I misrepresenting the album with the 2? But like the beat wise, that's how it flowed. And I've defaulted to, I go with the beat flow for the song order more than the lyrical content.
And the content.
Yeah.
No, I can see
I don't know if that's a good call or not, but that's where I've drifted these days. I mentioned this last week, so I'm sure you heard and Brad heard, but I think Brad done a verse for you, but I don't know. So you had to get it to me.
He did 2 verses. It's his first 2 he's done since he had his throat issues, right?
No, right. But he done one for me, and he did one for Classy Cypher 6, which isn't going to be out for like another year. But I don't think he did one for Go Hard unless he sent it to you and not to me to mix. So that's the only thing holding up.
I'll double check, but I don't think I got anything from
your album, just so you know, is we're waiting on that one verse. And then I probably should do more mixing, but I was going crazy a couple weeks ago, just burning CDs over.
Man.
It's just part of the process. It's part of the going crazy. You got to do it.
Everything I've heard sounds great, so don't overmix yourself, man. Overstress yourself mixing me.
So anyway, I'll quit talking about the music. No one cares about it, but that's what happens. That's part of our thing.
We got to care until everybody cares, man.
That's right. One thing, I know you're not a sports guy, but I thought this was you maybe have some interest in or whatever. There's this player named Jaden Ivey who played for the Bulls this year. He recently got released, and it's being reported that he's being released for being a Christian. There's like originally like what certain outlets are being said, right? And then it comes out like, well, he was saying some anti-LGBT shit, and then they're like, that's why he was released. And if you're like, well, that's not why you can't release someone for that, because that's turning into a whole other argument or whatever. And then it's all come down to like, oh, anyone at a job could fire you for being a nuisance, regardless of what it's about. And then I'm like, well, I don't think y'all really know what the First Amendment is, because I do think you should have the freedom of speech to express your opinion, as long as you're not like being super hateful. Even then, I think maybe you should be allowed to. But a lot of stuff's come out where I guess maybe he's gone off the deep end and he's crazy, or that's what people are claiming. Like they're giving the Kanye treatment. Like, no, he's just wild. He's crazy and he's lost his mind. But all of his wildness is all like Christianity related. And so it like kind of gives him this weird shield. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting dynamic. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe he does feel this way, or like he called other NBA players saying they weren't real Christians because they didn't care about certain things that he cared about, things like that. And so he's like kind of going off on these rants on things, but it's just interesting that people are picking up in the culture war of like, whether he's anti-gay or no, he's like a great Christian man, as opposed, or he's gone crazy. Like there's like certain angles to it.
Yeah, I think I did hear about that. Another thing I heard, because I know he, at the end of his, I guess one of his latest rants, he said something about how Kyrie is a fake Christian for something. So I heard that part of it. I didn't even know he was a player. I thought he was just somebody that like worked within the NBA or for a team.
There's a little bit more.
So he's a player.
He was a player. He got drafted a few years ago, pretty high, but then he got injured, so he hasn't been on the court much the last couple of years. But his mother was a WNBA player back in the 90s, and then was on like NBA coaching staffs while he was a teenager. So he's been around the NBA and WNBA his whole life, and then someone else has came out, Sam Decker, who's a guy that was in the NBA, but he's like in and out of the league or whatever. But he's come out and said like, there's a chapel in every stadium. Like for him to say anything is anti-Christianity is just wrong. Like 90% of the players are Christian. We pray in the chapel before game. Like it's one of the most Christian leagues in the world is the NBA. So for anyone to be like, they don't support my Christianity is.
I heard that. I didn't hear his statements directly. From what I heard, his critique or statement was that he doesn't feel like anything to do with, he didn't think the NBA should do anything to celebrate
Pride Month. Was that it?
Pride Month. That's what it was. It was a Pride Month statement that he made, that they shouldn't celebrate Pride Month. And then the other thing I heard was that in the podcast I was listening to talk about it, claimed they had like NBA sources, I guess, that were like, well, this is actually just something that's being used because they've been wanting to get rid of them. And so him doing this kind of just gave them more ammo to be like, all right, now you're gone.
Well,
so,
what's interesting about this is it is on the back of, because this is in your area in Georgia, but the Atlanta Hawks were going to have a Magic City night.
Club thing.
And I think the Magic City night was only going to have the food for Magic City.
It was about the wings. Yeah,
and
it was supposed
then
to be about the
I
food
think
and
the owner of
and
Magic City was going to be honored at halftime because he was friends with the owner of the Hawks or something like that. And then a player put out a thing that was like, I'm a Christian and this isn't right to women for us to be putting this.
Wasn't it like a player who played for like a different team too, like the Warriors or something?
So he plays for
like
the Spurs now. Yeah. And it's just a white guy named Luke Cornett. And so the people are like, well, how's this any different when Luke Cornett did, or whatever. And so I do like how they're kind of tying that together. And if my hot take here, and I think I'm pretty open and progressive and accepting of everyone.
Magic City thing too.
They did. I don't think any company should celebrate Pride Month. And not because I'm against it. I'm just like, I think it's patronizing. I think Black History Month is a little patronizing. I think just something's like, we should just include all these people because they're humans in everything. We don't need to have like all right, and now for the special citizens that I don't know. There's just something about like, I feel like it keeps us ass backwards a little bit.
Like it's all marketing and like money grab stuff. So like it's none of them are doing it.
This is just Mother's Day made by Hallmark
or don't support any of it. Like they're just jumping on whatever bandwagon will get people to like pay attention to them that month or that week just to get extra money. Like they don't care about you or your whatever you identify with. Like whatever you think is important to you, if you're not going to spend money, then they're not going to
like come buy your Juneteenth cakes today at Walmart. We got the new Juneteenth cakes, like they're just selling like merchandise for any holiday that pops up, and they're like, whatever we can push.
They make a whole section,
Yeah,
I said it's going to always be about making money when it's a company doing something. So
I did want to
probably shouldn't take it as serious.
One other thing about the NBA is, this guy gets kicked off the team, but there's this dude. I've been so mad he's still in the NBA for years. Named Miles Bridges, who plays for the Hornets. He like abused his wife in front of his children. I believe admitted to it. Got suspended a year, and then they just accepted him back on the team. But he's making millions and millions of dollars. And I'm like, well, when that guy could keep his job, and then this guy loses it because he's like, I don't think we should. It does seem crazy, and you're like, well, these comparisons are, I don't know, it's kind of like when the pedophiles get like 3 years in jail and then someone selling weed gets 20 and you're like, well, who's writing the laws here? Obviously the pedophiles. What's happened?
And see it. And I guess the thing that makes it different for me too, now that you've explained the story a little more, like I said, in my mind, the way I heard it and them talking about it was like, he was like an NBA, like he did something for the team other than being a player. So like he almost like he spoke for the team. And so him saying that was out of line and against his job code or whatever the hell made a little more sense if you're like somebody who speaks for the team. But if you're a player and you have an opinion that other people don't agree with, I don't see where that gets you booted off. Like unless it's just super flagrant.
And listen,
but even with that, like you don't speak for the team. Like to me, it'd be different if it was like a manager or some shit, you know, for the team said some shit.
I think another added layer just to make it more dramatic, if you will. There's a guy they have on their team named Josh Giddey who used to be on the Thunder, but we traded him 2 years ago. And he was allegedly had sex with a minor. And it was like this whole thing. And they call him the Giddler. It's like, the whole internet jokes or whatever. And then he's putting out.
I think I heard you talk about that on the podcast before too.
And so like he's putting out statements like, we just hope he all gets help. And everyone's like, fuck you, you pedophile. Like they're all jumping on him. Like, how dare you speak on this? And he's like, yeah, he could never say anything ever. And I remember at the time I kind of defended him, not defending, but he was in a club where you're supposed to be carded, not deed. How did he know a 16-year-old? I get the argument, at least where you could be like, you could see the misunderstanding. But anyway, that's sports talk this week. Let's all right. I have a list of random SoCo stuff that I didn't get to last time, so I'll do one of these here. And this wasn't last time, but I just said it. The Gucci Mane news that just came out. I don't know if you saw it. Where Pooh Shiesty, who I guess Gucci Mane had signed to his label, I didn't realize that, had robbed Gucci Mane in broad daylight with a gun, forcing him to sign paperwork. And now the FBI has arrested Pooh Shiesty, some other rapper, and Pooh Shiesty's father. And they're probably going to be in jail for a long time. And now people online are trying to say Gucci Mane is a snitch I know. They had ankle monitors on as they done the crime. And they're on camera. I mean, they have it all. And so he looks, I don't know much about Pooh Shiesty's music, but he seems like a fucking idiot for what I've seen. And I'm not a Gucci Mane fan of his music. I've always liked his personality well enough, I guess, but it's not my favorite or anything. But people online are saying Gucci Mane's a snitch. And I guess he has some old video back, hating on snitches from back there or something. But to me, and I've explained this for years, if you get a crime committed against you, that is not snitching. Snitching is when you commit a crime with people, and you snitch on them. I hate how we've turned.
Yeah, snitching it's supposed to be a term for criminals, not for victims.
Right. It's crazy. And I would say a rat is probably like someone that knows of it and they'll rat you out, but they weren't involved. So I would say it's the difference between a rat and a snitch. But I think if you're the victim of a crime, you're nothing. You're like, you had the gun held to you. What do you mean?
You're a civilian.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I believe in civilian rules. Like the same way criminals know like the consequence of crime. Like the upside of crime is okay. You might get some kind of financial windfall. That may be easier than working. So they say. I don't believe it, but
right.
And then the downside is if you get caught, like what the consequences are. Like that's the risk. And a part of getting caught is if you got victims. The victims aren't going to be okay with being victims. Like that's kind of 90% of the getting caught part is the victim not being okay with being a victim.
Right. Well, it's every story you see where it's like guy breaks into a house, gets shot by a homeowner, tries to sue homeowner for gunshot wound. And you're like, no. You deserve to die. As soon as you enter someone's home, you deserve to die.
I've never understood those laws.
Yeah, I don't know. I say it's always like I just would never steal from someone. So I know I say this from a position of like I'm never going to be in danger, but like I'm not committing crimes of robbery. So
yeah, if you're not a criminal or committing crimes, like there's certain codes that don't apply. Like none of that shit applies because I'm not out committing crimes. So I definitely don't see the criminal side of hey man, I should be able to break into your shit and not have to worry about dying. Like what? No. You break into my shit, you should definitely worry about
I need you to put a wheelchair ramp so I can break in your house easier. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. All right, let's play a quick song and then we'll come back and talk some more shit and be done. Next song we're going with here is from you off of your newest EP. Is it the EP also called SoCo Sessions?
It is. I think when the album's ready, I think it's going to be called the SoCo Sessions album.
Okay.
So that'll differentiate it. But yeah, there's been a lot of SoCo sessions, but there's going to be one final one that's mixed by the master.
There you go. A lot of pressure. Lots of pressure. I do think it sounds pretty good. There's a couple songs like Mic Check I like, but the audio doesn't sound as crisp as some other songs, but it's like, I mean, what can I do? It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And then something like I Don't Give a Hoot just sounds so much better mixing every other song on there that I'm trying to make it sound worse.
It's the newest.
Yeah. And so
I think it being the newest has a lot to do with it.
Right. Well, and I think Brad and H2, both real crisp and everything. So it's just, but anyway, lots of good songs. Get excited. But the one we're playing here is, I guess, still behind the curtains for everybody is all the ones off this EP all have remixes that will be on the album. So that's why these are all put out.
Shout out to all those who collab with me. I believe we got Karma, Rico Reds, it's your boy H2, BX. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody?
I've been
probably you're on it.
Let me see. I have a list somewhere. I say you're probably missing some, but I can't remember. Let me see. I have notes.
But just know I appreciate y'all just for making music with me.
So I have the list about it.
A lot of people act like it's a nothing, but it's a something.
Yeah, it's and everyone was pretty excited to jump on it. Everyone done their verses pretty quickly, and we're like, "Oh hell yeah, I'll be on SoCo." Except Brad, slow ass, but he's on like 3 or 4 times, so it's fun. But yeah, if you can do go hard. If not, we'll push it off to whatever the next SoCo album is or something. It sounds good too. Like I would say that might be your best sounding one is Go Hard. Like you're doing a different voice. You're like kind of a half singing, half rapping sort of thing. All right. Anyway. Let's not tease that. Let's go with this song here. Another Time, Southern Comfort.
Another time.
Let's give it a listen.
Take y'all to another time. Y'all ready?
Makes beats. Yeah, I can't deal no more. Okay, hold on.
Take me to another time, another time. Take me to another time, another time. Take me to another time, another time. I wanna go right now. I wanna go right now. Take me to another time, another time. Take me to another time, another time. Take me to another time, another time. I wanna go right now. I wanna go right now. Take me to another time, another place I can go when I'm tired of feeling lost and feeling low. Somebody take me away. Somebody take me away. Float on the cool breeze, sail on the high seas, then hit the west coast and get high feet. Throw all them thoughts away and bring my wifey. Someplace where nobody knows nothing about me. Someplace where no one expects of me. Just live and let live. I've done all I can do. I've gave all I can give. Here is my resignation. Yeah, I'm retiring. I'm no longer me, so you can't fire me. Or better yet, you can fire me. I am not him. We are not the same. Cause you just like them. What does it all mean? Can a guy dream about a new life? Beyond this life I've seen, there's a death with meaning. Eternal life starts and then it keeps repeating. Take me when you ready. Take me when I'm ready. Tell me when you ready. I tell you when I'm ready. Take me to another time, another time. Take me to another time, another time. Take me to another time, another time. I wanna go right now. I wanna go right now. Take me to another time, another time. Take me to another time, another time. Take me to another time, another time. I wanna go right now. Take me to another time, take me to another place, somewhere that I can go when I'm tired of feeling lost and low. Somebody take me away, somebody take me away. Take me away. Float on the cool breeze, sail on the high seas, then hit the west coast and get high feet. Throw all them thoughts away and bring my wifey. Someplace where nobody knows nothing about me. Someplace where no one expects of me. Just live and let live. I've done all I can do. I gave all I can give. Here is my resignation. I'm retiring. I'm no longer me, so you can't fire me. Or better yet, you can fire me. I'm not him. We are not the same. Cause you just like them. What does it all mean? Can a guy dream about a new life? Beyond the life I've seen, there's a death with meaning. Eternal life starts and it keeps repeating. Take me when you ready. Take me when I'm ready. Tell me when you ready. I'll tell you when I'm ready. Take me away. Southern Comfort, I'm out. Somebody take me away.
Southern Comfort.
Yeah, damn, I love that song. Love that SoCo guy, man.
Another time.
That's my feeling down, pick myself up song, man. Love that shit.
Yeah, you have a lot of good ones on the album. They got stuck in my head a lot. You know, when I'm listening to something like fucking 1,000 times or whatever, when you mix it, you're like,
that leaves you no choice.
You're like singing different parts or whatever. And yeah, that's definitely one that's pretty catchy. There was one that I was singing way too much because I was like, it was all religious and shit. I'm like, I don't even like this shit, but it's all.
Oh yeah, you said the Job song, right?
Yeah, B Job. That's what it was. It was like,
yeah, when you said that on the podcast, I was like, really, that one of all the songs?
I had an earworm, I guess, you know. And I'm listening. Like I said, it's like a 26 fucking track album, or was it one time? And I was like, fucking listening again, you know. And so it's just how it works. But yeah, I'm excited for that to be done. Maybe you can get that like in May or something, you know. Whatever you're pushing for. I don't know what your plans are, but
man, I ain't in no rush, so I want Brad on it and more than just a hook. So when he's got his vocals ready to send it, and I checked, make sure he didn't already send me something, but I'm pretty sure he would send it to you. Right. He knows you're mixing the album, so yeah. When he's got his verse ready and it's complete, then I'll be ready for that.
Reminds me,
I do want to hear.
I need to complain about Twitter, or what they now call X. They fucked up our group chat. It technically works, but for some reason you no longer get notifications when you get messages. And so we just won't check it for like 3 or 4 days. And then I'll look, I'm like, oh, fuck, of course someone said something. But so I've been trying to check in the morning, but even then, that's just once a day. So I don't know. And it's not like notification on my phone because I don't have that for any social media apps. But like, even when you open the app, it doesn't have like you got a new message. You're right. It's nothing. Yeah. So somebody, when they encrypted the chats or unencrypted them, whatever the fuck they did, it ruined it for us. So it's a big bummer.
They did.
We're trying to push through it. All right, let's do a couple things. We'll wrap here. The one thing that I did have on my list for last time you called it, I forgot to talk about is, and they may not exist or you may not know of them, but I'm assuming black church camps are crazy because church camps, especially in Oklahoma, white culture, that's like peak church craziness. You go for like a week, you stay at a place in a cabin, you get no sleep. They just flood your brain with God and Jesus and stuff and tabernacles and shit. And then I know black church is crazy. And so my idea of a black church camp, I would assume, is double crazy. You like a whole fucking camp of thousands of just black young Christians acting wild, trying to fuck. Because that's saying even at the white church camp, everyone's trying to fuck, right? And I just imagine, I know it's stereotypical, I imagine even more so trying to fuck at the black church camp.
I definitely agree that would be going on if it existed. If it does exist, I don't know of it. I've never really, like, cause even the church camp concept, I think I've always in my mind considered a white thing just because I've only ever heard about it from white people.
And there are black people there. Don't get me wrong. They go to churches, church but there aren't black churches. And you like rarely see like a whole church of black people there. You know what I mean? It's like there's black kids, of course. I had friends that went.
Oh yeah. Because when I say white, not like only white people are there, but like
the white culturally.
It's a certain type of church that has a camp.
Right. Well, the one I would go to was Baptist based. Right. And so it's a very, everything very judgmental and stuff, but yet also trying to fuck, it's the way the Baptists are. But I had friends that went to like an Assembly of God church, where I guess it's Pentecostal, and they had a totally different church camp also in Oklahoma. And they would like show them, like theirs was kind of different. And then I knew people went to Church of Christ and they had their own church camp, but all of them were like massive places. I think the one I went to was technically the biggest because Southern Baptist is, I think, the most popular denomination in Oklahoma. But I mean, there would be 6,000 to 10,000 people a week at this church camp for 8 to 9 weeks in a row. And yeah. And I mean, and then you like walk out of your cabin and where ours was, you had to walk, I don't know, a half a mile to get to their downtown, which is like they have an icy shop. So you would take girls on icy dates. And then they had like a little mini grocery store. I'd go and buy just logs of chocolate chip cookie dough. And I would just eat that straight like it was salami off the log. And they'd have like volleyball tournaments and just random ass fucking shit. But yeah, you would just be walking around trying to find some babes. No babes are into me, but you're trying, you're walking, really what I did, I'd have attractive male friends and they'd be like, you're funny, hang out with me. I will bring them in and then you will make them laugh. And then you would like do teamwork that way. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it. I went like 6 years in a row. I mean, it was like a huge deal, but everyone went in my town. Like if you didn't go, like you'd be missing out on some shit, So it was a big deal. But I just assume if there is a black church camp, and this is also my pitch for our next black comedy movie, if we're leading the revolution, black church camp movie would be pretty fucking good, I think. So you'd have some heart, it'd have a message at the end. Tyler Perry would be the music leader or something.
It would definitely be a different and new concept. Like I said, and it could just be me not having it in my like sphere of life. Right. Like maybe that is a thing that's pretty big, but I don't think I've ever really heard like black church camp talked about as like a thing. Like even amongst like that's where
the name of the movie can be Black Church Camp. Like just simple. Tyler Perry presents Black Church Camp.
Like the area I live in, there's so many churches. I don't think any of them would want to like. I don't think they would want to team up, and I don't think anyone would like want to give one church all that revenue.
According to the Little Richard documentary, Macon has the most churches per capita in America.
Yep.
Yeah, the way it worked, like where I'm at, like the First Baptist Church would go to this camp we went to, but then there were neighboring towns church, and also like our church owned our cabin and we would rent it out to other churches the other weeks we're not there. So like it was a money making revenue for them or whatever. So, And then you would like go up on, or I did, because I have nothing else to do. On spring break, you'd go up and help them like paint. And so like you just go up a random time and shit. And then someone would cook you meals. And oh no, I actually kind of enjoyed church camp. I hated the guilt tripping of like, actually, I didn't even hate the guilt tripping of come down and get saved. I hated the kids that were faking going down and getting saved every year. I'm like, you got saved last year. And they'd be like, I got touched by the Spirit, because they just want the attention. You know what I mean? It's not about, I don't know. And then also I was very judgmental of like the girls are like, as soon as the song started, their hand raised. And I'm like, there's no way the Spirit possessed you immediately. Like, fucking at least pretend that you're fucking feeling it. I'd be pretty judgmental.
Not that quick. Nice try, buddy.
Yeah. And then we had this, I had a lot of crazy youth pastor stories over the years. We went through a lot of them. They were always getting in trouble and shit. But one of them had this brilliant plan one year that he came back and was, we went during 4th of July week. And so there was a big firework display. And he came back with a letter and was like, we got word that there was anthrax on the fireworks. And then we all been contaminated. We're all going to die. And all the girls start crying, right? And I immediately like, well, this dude's a fucking idiot. Let's see what he's going to say. And he goes, in my hand, I have the medicine. And it was a bag of jelly beans. And he was like, and we're going to go around and decide who gets the medicine. And then we made a circle. I remember this so well. And everyone like had, say, 4 jelly beans a piece, right? And you had to go around the circle and give your medicine, your 4 to whoever. And you had to tell them the reason. So it'd be like, basically all the kids that you don't think are saved, like all the problem kids, you'll be like, you deserve to live because you need to still find Jesus. So then like all the fucking shit kids have all these jelly beans, and then all these girls without jelly beans are crying because like, I'm gonna die. And they're like taking it just way too seriously, you know what I mean? And then he got fired off of this because they got home like, what the fuck was that shit? And they let him go. But he was there for about 2 years.
I might be cross-pollinating stories. But is this also the counselor, teacher person who would do the penis watch thing?
No, this is a different one. So
okay.
My original youth pastor at the church I go to, his name's Tom. And he's actually a good guy. But yes, he'd put his dick over his wrist and say, what time is the ill-skinned watch? And then that was like his little shower bathroom joke. And so, I mean, when I'm in junior high and I say like, it's weird, but it's like not sexual to me, you know? And so I don't think of it that. A lot of people are being fucking weird and sexual, but then he did it, I guess, in a bathroom that he didn't think any kids could see him, to an RA, like an older kid that came to help chaperone. And a kid in 5th grade saw it, told his mom. And then, yeah, that guy got fired for having his dick exposed. But again, at church camp, there's just a curtain between where the bunk room is and where the bathrooms are. It's almost impossible not to see someone's dick. So a lot of dicks at church camp. If you didn't know.
Oh man. But yeah, all right. And on that subject too, like any gathering of like teens or middle school, like I think there's gonna be the same amount of hormones and like there's gonna be the same agenda eventually. Like whether it's church camp, regular camp. We used to have a yearly trip to Washington, DC in the 6th grade. That like I remember being on that bus and like that's all anybody was doing. It was like finger banging and kissing. Like that was the goal.
Right.
Like so anytime you can get together with like other teens as a team, that's gonna be the goal.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you could like make out the chick, that was super cool or whatever. But like because the way the church can be, like you're basically most of the time with just the other guys. And so you're like in a bunk room. And I remember like in 7th grade in particular, because I remember who the 9th graders were or whatever. And all the 9th graders just like all showing off how hairy their ass cracks were to each other. And me being like, this is so fucking gay. But like, not in a like, like I was like, I hate gay. Just like these dudes are doing the gayest shit I've ever seen. And then like a kid in my class in 7th grade, his dick was bigger than the 9th grader. So then they kept wanting to show it. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like I was so like, this is crazy. And so it's just how people are. And you taking a shower and someone's going to rip the fucking shower thing back. And I'd be like, I don't know what it was, but there was some weird, I'm really just glad that I didn't come across being sexually assaulted by anybody. I guess in hindsight, you know, I was large enough to defend myself against some crazy shit. But yeah, there was a lot of weird shit. There was one guy, and I was going to give him away if anyone knows, of course, but he's an old man now, married with kids. He was the preacher's son, and his older brother had like a 12-inch penis. All right, because I saw it at a a church thing on accident. I didn't mean to, but I walked in the room and I was trying to keep my eyes up because I was in 7th grade and he was a 12th grader and I was just trying to be cool. And this guy calls out. He goes,
penis viewings are the worst.
Right. And this guy goes, the 7th grader is the only one not looking at my dick right now because all the other guys were staring at it. So once he said that, I had to like glance and his dick was 12 inches longer. And I was like, holy shit. And so this way, I had to say that's only important because then his younger brother has a really small penis and then tells everyone. And then he's like running around the church camp being like, look at my small dick. And it was like, I've never seen anyone proud of their small dick. He goes, it looks like a mosquito bite. And like he was saying it about his own dick. I was like, this is fucking wild. So yeah, you get exposed to some shit at church camp. So not just the Holy Spirit.
You brought back a memory, and thankfully it's not like a sexual assault memory, but it's just, it's one that I don't think about it for obvious reasons once I tell the story. But like when I first moved to Georgia, like one of my first friends, and I won't say his name, even though I'm sure he'll never see this, but
Sir Nasty.
I used to hang out at his apartment, and he had an older brother. And I don't know if you ever had it, but like older brothers just seem cool.
Yeah.
When you're younger. Like
I have
even
friends
when
with siblings, yeah.
And then you get older and you're like, oh no, you were actually fucking lame. You were a nerd. Like you were terrible. Like you weren't cool at all. You were just cool to us.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever had that experience. But the reason I'm telling this story is, all right, so his older brother, he seemed like he was like really cool, like just kind of older brother. You're like, wow, he's cool. You want to look up to him and shit like that. But I remember vividly, like he would do a thing where he would pull his penis out and like chase us with it.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And we're like, all right, so I'm guessing he's high school, we're probably like elementary. But this shit is like funny as fuck to him. And now as we get older and you know, you learn shit about people, he was gay. So now that's like even fucking weirder.
Yeah.
Like, it was already weird. Well, even if he wasn't gay, it was gonna be weird. But it's like, oh yeah, your gay older brother who like, he was the cool older brother, but then as you get older, you realize, oh, in high school, he actually wasn't that cool. He didn't have friends. And it might be because he was gay, so that's why he didn't fit in. But then you chased us with your penis too, so like that part's just, but I just remember that being like one of the only times where I was like, why the fuck is there a dick out? Like, what are you doing? Like, because it wasn't funny. It was just like, but my friend was used to it because he did it to him all the time. So it was like their thing. But I'm like, I'm here, but no, I don't want to be a part of this game.
Right.
Like,
see, one of my good friends growing up, his stepdad turned out to be gay, which I knew the moment I met him. I mean, he had the voice or whatever. And I told him like in 3rd grade, I was like, hey, your stepdad's gay. And he's like, no, he's married to my mom. And I'm like, okay. And then like by like 6th grade, they had gotten divorced. And he got like, it seemed like he became homophobic a little bit because it was like, he was in a room with this gay man all the time. You know what I mean? He was like, but I stayed in a hotel with him. I'm like, he was your stepdad. That didn't mean anything. You know what I mean? But like he internalized it in some weird way, right? And I always felt like, I don't think it's that. Maybe some stuff happened I didn't know about, you know, or whatever. But I remember like really affected him.
Well, it's like, it's the whole mentality that like, and it still exists today to a certain extent. I guess just not quite as blatant, but that like all gay men are predators. Right. It's like, no, there are gay guys, there's pedophiles, but there's not like a definite crossing between it.
Listen,
like,
what I'm about to say is going to be pretty
aren't gay, so like, you can't.
Not good. You know, people will be like, you can't say that. But I am curious what the percentage of gay men that were molested are. Like, I'm curious, like, if you have like a normal upbringing where you don't have anything odd happen, like, what are those percentages? Or is it a reaction to something that happened? You know, I know a lot of them have stories like that. So.
That's how they've been all their life and they felt it in them versus the ones who didn't feel that way until some traumatic thing happened. Yeah. Or till they saw a certain thing. Like, yeah, I think that's interesting.
And I mean, I don't know. And if you're born with it, then there's a gene and they can find the gene. I mean, that's all there's. Like, that's where it's the way science works. So, and I'm not saying it'd be less valid if there is a gene one way or the other, but I'm like, scientifically, I'm curious. Like, what is it? What happens? All right, my last thing I have to talk about, and then we have to get out of here because it's, I mean, I don't know how long we've been going because we had so many technical issues. We'll see what gets cut or whatever. But I did get a dog this last week. I
saw that. Well,
so
I heard that.
I'll post a picture here. Yeah, I posted in the group chat with you and Brad. I'll be honest, I wasn't ready. My wife really pushed it, and I really tried to talk her out of it. And then she was like, "No, it's gonna be great. We're gonna get the dog. We'll just be good." You know, so she made it happen. People posted on Facebook and they're like, well, we'll be in the Walmart parking lot. And so I was actually on my way to Walmart. So the wife wanted to go look at it and blah, blah, blah. And it is a really sweet dog. It's a puppy. It's a lot of work. It looks like a purebred golden lab. That's what they told us at the vet, but it's not. It's a mutt. But it looks just like one and has even golden eyelashes, which I think is interesting. I've never seen a dog with golden, like blonde eyelashes before. But yeah, she's real cute. It's only been a week since we've had her. And I mean, I cried about my last dog like 3 days ago. So like I definitely was probably not ready for it to dog, but I'm going to love the dog. We're going to take care of her and all that. But it's a puppy. She's chewing everything. You got to stay on her to potty train her. You got to teach her not to get into shit. You got to kind of just be watching her all the time. It's like, a baby that with sharper teeth that's trying to get into shit for like the first year. And so it's a lot of work, but so far we've really liked her. I couldn't think of a good name. I named our first dog together, Nymeria, which was like just perfect for her. And then so there was a lot of pressure to name a good one, but I just couldn't think of anything. We went through many, but my wife wanted to name it Laurel, which is the shit that like Julius Caesar wears around his head, the little leaves or whatever. It's like the wreath thing is what it originally is, but it is a name. I know of it from The Challenge on MTV. There's a woman named Laurel on that, and I'm assuming there's like some author or something. So there's some reason why I was thinking of it, I'm sure. But
yeah, I remember Coral from that.
Yeah, and so we're getting on with the dog so far, but we haven't buy her lots of toys and shit, and all that. She's just chewing on everything, and then she sleeps sometimes. I'm letting her sleep in my lap in the recliner, and I'm like, I think this dog's gonna get to be like 80 pounds, so I know this is a bad idea to get this habit started, but it's just easier to do it right now, so it's like one of those, I'm just kicking the can down the road a little bit. If she has a golden lab, they're extremely friendly. I'm like, they're some of the most friendly dogs that exist, but they need like 2 hours of exercise a day, which I do miss going to the park because since my last dog was sick for so long, and then this puppy's not big enough yet, I haven't been, and I'm like, I'm just getting fatter and fatter. I'm just getting more and more out of shape. I understand walking a mile a day isn't shit, but it's enough to kind of fight off against my video game loving lifestyle. So I'm like, come on, we gotta get this dog grown up so I can at least walk it. So, I'm sure we'll have the dog on someday. But I went and checked this last song and she was asleep. So I'm like, we're going to let her sleep because she's wild. Now, my last dog, Nymeria, she never got the zoomies in her whole life. If people don't have dogs, it's where they like just run like crazy in a circle or whatever. She just didn't have that type of attitude. She was a very prissy dog or whatever. And this dog's fucking wild. She's like runs around in crazy circles, eats sticks, is eating bugs. She's got a crazy amount of energy. So we're trying to get used to that around here, I would say. But wish us luck. Wish us luck on the new dog.
Hey, best of luck for sure. Oh man, all right. 2 quick things that relate to dogs and that you made me think of that I wanted to bring up on the podcast anyway. The first thing, as you were telling that story, it just reminds me of almost every movie or TV show you see where like parents lose a child. Like normally there's always one parent that's like, hey, let's have another one. And one is like, I'm not ready yet. So that just reminded me of that whole dynamic, like, and how real that is.
I didn't want Nymeria either when my wife got her. So, I mean, this is normal. I'm like, but then I was just like, it's a big change. My wife didn't know. But this time I was like, I'm just not quite ready. And part of it was like an emotional part, but another part's like, I was kind of excited about just having the house without a dog. We could finally get it cleaned up, but maybe I could have my 18-hour video game days, where I don't have other responsibility, and so it just kind of pushed off those plans I had to the wayside. So I think I was also kind of pissed about that. But it took the wife a few days where she finally goes, I think I realized that you didn't want this and I pushed it too hard. I'm like, yeah, I fucking argued against you the whole time. What are you talking about? What do you mean you just realized? And so then she felt all bad. I was like, well, don't feel bad. We already have the dog. I love the dog. It's great. It's just,
I'm over it already.
Yeah. Yeah. It was exactly. It was like 3 days later, and I was like, yeah, 3 days ago I would have argued the shit out of you with this, and I did. I tried, but anyway, it'll be a good dog. We're keeping it in the crate, which is a whole thing, during the day, and then you feel bad because it cries. But eventually, that's what we did with our last dog, and it worked out well. Once they get chill and we can trust them, but right now she'll just fucking eat everything in this house.
Now the second thing talking about the dog reminded me of was that. All right, so and this takes us back to. So what's good with TV watching? But that movie I watched, Mike, Nick, and Lola, or however it goes, the very beginning of that movie, there's a scientist, and he's singing the song by Billy Joel, Why Should I Worry? You familiar with it?
No, but I know people have said Billy Joel has went up since that movie came out.
Why should I worry? Why should I care? I may not have a dime, but I got streets at warfare. Why should I worry? Familiar? No?
No. I'm not a Billy Joel. I don't like white music.
I know Oliver and Company.
I know it's a bit, but I do not really listen to white music. Oliver and Company, I don't know that. No, I don't think so. Is that Cats?
It was a dog movie from around when we would have been probably elementary school. It was like homeless dogs in New York City.
It reminds me of Aristocats, which I also never saw, but I remember all those genres. Yeah.
I thought the song was from Aristocats until I looked it up, and it's Oliver and Company. But
I remember it a little bit.
That song, when I heard it, it took me back to that movie, and now I've been playing that song every fucking day, and I just really love that song by Billy Joel. So I just wanted to get that out there, and it's dog related, so that's what made me bring it up. And I'm probably gonna do like a weird SoCo version of that song that I haven't fully fleshed out yet. And if I do, you'll hear it at some point. But it may be like the first song I've done not on an A2thaMo beat, other than a feature, in a very long time.
I say CJ Jones did that covers album, and you just have to give a percentage, and I think it's pretty easy actually to do covers on streaming or something. So I don't know how, but if he ever fucking
I know hit us up, always ask you if it's a cover song, but because I've never done one, I never been beyond that point of saying no. So I don't know what else it says once you say yes, it's a cover song.
I don't think I'm a good enough singer to cover anything. But it's a fun idea, but I'm like, I couldn't imagine ever. I could cover my own song in a different style, but.
And then because we're also rappers, to me, it would be more of a mixtape kind of thing where it's like, oh, I'm taking and doing a version of your song my way. It's not really a cover.
Right.
Because I'm going to use my own words. You know what I mean? I might use your cadence on shit. People are going to know I'm doing your song, but it's not going to be your song. You know what I mean? As rappers, it's different. We come from a mixtape era where they would just take the hook and put different words, but the exact same style.
Yeah, that's why Lil Wayne was my favorite rapper. Was because he would remix anyone's song. Yeah.
Yeah, no covers in rap. We mixtape it.
Yeah, but I think we should. I think they should bring back covers, or they should do covers of rap, but those people should not get as much respect. I mean, right now, people that ghostwrite are basically doing a cover. They're just lying, you know what I mean? And so it's like, well, fuck, if we're going to do that, at least do a good song or something.
Yes, they're covering other people's references for sure.
Yep. All right, man. Appreciate you calling in. Hopefully we'll get our technology someday.
Issues, but it is what it is.
Yeah, hopefully y'all don't hear it. It's just there's a lot of echo. I can hear me on SoCo's side, but I'll try to cut it out so the listeners don't have to struggle. If so, they're not going to listen, or I wouldn't if I was listening. So we'll get it figured out. But all right, we're gonna end with a beat here. I don't remember what it's called, but it's in my beat store. It's on YouTube. Check it out if you want. If you're interested in beats, hit me up.
Shop with A2thaMo. Buy his music, buy his beats, collab with him. You will not regret it. That's a SoCo guarantee. Graveyard Entertainment. Holla at us on socials. Check us out on Station Head. Buy the music on Bandcamp. Appreciate you, Mo.
All right, peace, man.
Peace, man.